Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to share some thoughts and theories I have about the aftermath of the Elseworlds crossover. If you have not seen all the parts, in particular, if you have not seen part 3, do not watch this because I will be going into spoilers. So for these thoughts and theories, in particular, what I'm focusing on is what is the price that Oliver had to pay for the monitor to make sure that Barry and Kara lived, because the universe needs balance. So to save them, something else must be sacrificed in exchange. And obviously I'll be reiterating a lot of stuff that my own, thoughts and theories that I brought up during my Elseworlds review. And that is that Oliver is sacrificing himself, especially at the end when he made that, when he was talking to Barry and kind of like being like, you never know how much time you have. So it's like, yeah, Oliver definitely sacrificed himself, because there's a lot of stuff to kind of bring into this and think about, because obviously there's the whole Star City 2049 situation, both Legends wise as well as Arrow wise, because we're in that time frame now currently with Arrow as it's flashing forward to the future and stuff like that, because we've yet to see Oliver. Oliver hasn't even been brought up in conversation, even though we know he's still alive in 2049 because of Legends. But to be fair, maybe the timeline changed in some shape or form because of the events of Elseworlds, because it probably shifted reality and time. Because even using Star City 2049, remember that still took place in a timeline where Flashpoint happened, because John's son is there, so it's still kind of like there's still continuity there is what I'm trying to say. So now that we haven't seen Oliver at all, like Felicity's come up about the whole like Star City situation, not unless everyone thinks he's dead. To be fair, it's been a long time since I've seen that Star City 2049 episode, so I don't know if Oliver was dead at that time. I was kind of under the impression that everyone knew he was alive. But to be fair, that might be because that could be in the Glades, and the Glades seems like to be a place that our heroes in the future, like who we're following right now, haven't really entered the Glades, so what goes on down there might not be that well known to them. Because I think it's very befitting if it is that Oliver sacrifices himself, because he believes himself not to be the hero that's needed. Like for the fight that's coming, the world is better off. Like I've done what I've done, but I'm not the best example of a hero. Kara and Barry are, but not me. So for him, he's willing to sacrifice himself, because that's a thing we've seen about Oliver. He has a tendency to sacrifice himself for other people without telling anyone, because he hasn't told Barry, he hasn't told Kara, he most likely hasn't told Felicity. But that also comes down to whether or not they remember this entire Elseworlds crossover, which they probably won't and don't. Oliver might fill them in a tiny bit, like when we get back to Arrow, the same thing for like the Flash and stuff like that. We might see those conversations come up. It might be like one scene or whatever, but that's where I'm thinking at the very least. Obviously, we know that going forward, there's going to be the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which once again, I don't know comic books, so I don't know much about Crisis on Infinite Earths. Obviously, my thought was like, oh, this is all leading up to Darkseid, which it could, because maybe he has something to do with Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't know. The thing is, I'm curious about though is Oliver sacrificing himself enough to save two people? Was that enough to bring balance to that situation? Because it is making up for Kara and Barry. So I feel like there would have to be something or someone else sacrificed as well. Maybe it's something in his personal life. I have no idea. I'd assume Oliver wouldn't sacrifice anyone else but himself. So maybe he is enough of a price for both of them, and maybe it's a situation where he gave himself a certain amount of time before the monitor will end his life prematurely, or at the very least, whatever's going to happen in the future, his sacrifice will be necessary to fix everything potentially. I don't know. That's just like me rattling off some thoughts I had in my brain. We will ultimately have to wait and see, probably until the next crossover, because like I said, I feel like it probably won't be like a big plot point in Arrow. Like it'll probably be a big plot point across the whole Arrowverse, but not until the next crossover really happens next year. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.